Hey, soul babes, welcome to the Essence Podcast. I'm your host, Riss. And in this podcast, I dive deep into the world of holistic wellness, creativity, and spirituality. Consider me your intuitive bestie here to help you and guide you on the journey of reconnecting with your essence. This podcast is all about honoring the unique path each of us walks. Together, we'll explore how to live unapologetically, authentically, and in alignment with our soul's purpose. And in this week's episode on the Essence Podcast, we're talking about what it means to give yourself grace, especially on the days when your energy feels off, your to-do list is untouched, and your inner critic gets loud. I'll be sharing a personal reflection on exhaustion, emotional ebbs and flows, and how we often confuse rest with laziness. This episode is a gentle reminder that healing is not linear. Productivity does not define your worth, and rest is not a weakness, it's wisdom. So get comfy, grab your tea, your crystals, whatever you need to get grounded, and let's explore, unravel, and set foot on the journey to rediscovering your essence here in the sacred container of the Essence Podcast.
In your divine essence you shine. In your divine essence you thrive. I'm your host, Riss, and you're listening to Essence Podcast.
Alrighty, soul babes. So before we get started with this week's episode, I do want to give a shout out to my grandparents. Happy anniversary, mom and dad. They probably won't watch this, but happy anniversary to the couple that God only knows what I would do without them. And God only knows why they stood together this long, because, relationships are not perfect. They are not. And knowing that they have grown up and been children themselves, taking on different personalities of their own parents and being molded in a certain way at a different timeline in life, and then becoming the version that they are and doing the best that they could with what they have and the energy that they've created together, has been a little bit of a whirlwind. That's just pretty much like what it's been about, like my grandma, she's an Aries, and my grandpa, he's a Scorpio. So that can get very messy sometimes, but at the end of it all, they have stood together. But also, love has been the foundation. It always comes back to love, because no matter how many more arguments they'll get in, or the family will get in, my aunts will get in, like, there is always this foundation of love that sticks around. I honor that because they're part of that that lineage of mine. Their DNA is my DNA. And of course, through the evolution of a story and through the essence of like coming and healing ourselves and going into that part of us that has to be our own mother and father to ourselves as an adult, right? Like, we eventually have to come to the place of like that's where the healing journey takes us, is to really mother and father ourselves. Because as an adult, we are just mimicking what we see through mother and father. When we are aware and conscious of like what we're projecting, that's when we can actually like change it and evolutionize it. And the mission that my grandparents had is different than the one that my mom was going to have. And then so now it's my time to like have my essence be there and like to, as an adult, navigate the mother and father within myself and heal those wounds, but also heal certain patterns that have been molded in me and that have stood with me. I do want to like give a few of moldedness that has happened now that we can transition into, even just sharing how, like I mentioned, that what we're going to be talking about is like seeing that our rest is not lazy, and how sometimes if we're not doing, that's not something that we have to look down upon. Like, we could totally not do and just be, like there's certain things that we have yet to work on, not even through my own family tree, but I see this as a collective, right? Like, there's so many of us that have grown up in families where what the hell is rest? For me, what I've noticed is that I need at least 8 or 9 hours. And people might say that is crazy, but this girl right here needs sleep to be able to function properly, especially on days when I need to put in more emphasis and more oomph into my day. So I do feel like I'm still navigating that idea of like when there is this time of like pause, to actually pause, to not push, but to pause. Have you been feeling the call to go in deeper into your essence? The Essence community is now live, a sacred place to connect, grow, and realign with your truth. It's a supportive online gathering where you can move, breathe, and explore your inner world alongside like-minded souls. Every Wednesday evening, we come together for a live dance and meditation class, a midweek reset to awaken the body, balance your energy, and feel fully present. Because when you're in your essence, balanced and aligned, you create from a place of unlimited self-expression. You begin to receive clarity on where your soul is guiding you. You feel safe to express your emotions, explore your inner world, and rise with intention. This is where clarity meets creativity, where self-discovery becomes embodied. As a member of Essence Community, you'll receive weekly live dance and meditation classes, curated mixes to help you move and regulate the nervous system, guided meditations, rituals for moon cycles, and you'll also have early access to community events and offerings. You can also drop in for a single class, but if you're ready to go in deeper, the membership is where the magic really builds. Click the link in the description and join me in the circle. Your essence is welcome here. I have grown up seeing and feeling family push, push, push. They're so exhausted, but they push, push, push. They just keep going. And I feel that's where we sort of lost our way around like how to go about life. We forget about actually embodying the feminine because so much of our world has embodied masculine and has made it the default. And masculine energy, the sacred masculine, is about focus. It's about precision, about stillness, about determination, and being a provider, right? Like this is a lot of what the masculine is because it's built for that. And the feminine is built for that rest, that playfulness, the nurturer, the person that has compassion and speaks truth. And these two energies lay within both of us. They don't just coexist separately, because obviously we see in the physical that we embody one or the other energy dominantly, but at a energetic level of what we are taking on to feel whole within ourselves is that mother and father combination. It's embodying both and knowing how we can work with them inside of ourselves. And to feel healthy, whole, and complete is when we acknowledge that we do need rest, is acknowledging when we do need to actually take action, when we do need to provide, when we do need to be playful. It's that ebb and flow of what we see in life happening outside of ourselves. It's that same thing that needs to it's happening inside of ourselves, and it needs attention and it needs balance and it needs you to be able to see what it is that you are to take aligned action on to actually make that balance occur. So there inside of ourselves, that energy is to be working together. So that's what happens, right? Like we lose along the way, and from our history and from our roots, we will notice that there may be that imbalance because majority of what's being used is the mind. Is this mind of like think greater, think this way, think that way, and follow this way. And then we lose the voice of the heart speaking. We tend to take action, not from a heart center, but from a mindset. And so when we lose the heart in what we do, like if we take action, it's not the heart that's being involved, it's just the mind, then we don't really make proper moves. We make moves that tend to become frustrated, that tend to become irritated. and whatnot. So there's a sort of imbalance, right? Because the heart isn't being able to project and share its thoughts and feelings as well. It's that mind body connection, because also our body is also considered the emotional body. Our body is what holds this embeddedness of our energy. So if we're feeling this place of anger, it is said that anger shows up in our liver. And so what do we do, or what do alcoholics do with their anger? They actually use a bottle of liquor as their pacifier to like pretty much cover up that anger of what they're feeling. And when they stop drinking, then they get angry and they need, like, they have this whole aggressive moment, and then they drink more, and then they're chill. They're like, everything's good. But then, you could use obviously liquor to cover up anything else, like even sadness or other things. But eventually what that happens to do is, like, because you aren't actually projecting and letting out those emotions in a healthy way, because you can let out anger in a healthy way and you can say, I am really mad that somebody did this to me. Like, it was not right for them to do it. Like, you can project that and let it out. But then the idea is to move with it in a healthy way, to not stray away from letting yourself sit with that notion. Because even if you did say project it and you're like, I am angry about this, and like you live in that angry state, then that's not what we want to happen. We want you to be able to see that you're angry, but then also move through this by, this is why I have my dance and meditation, because dancing is something that people may seem as like, oh, I don't know how to dance, or no, dancing's only for the weekends, or like, we don't have time for that. Like, dancing is a beautiful way for us to release our emotions without even having to like project it and hit somebody or yell at somebody or be aggressive. Like, we could literally, it's kind of like screaming in a pillow, right? Like, we purge out that energy of anger through dance, and we let ourselves let it go. And then we give ourselves that love and compassion of knowing that it is okay, because once we project that out and we share that, we get to give ourselves that motherly aspect, the love and compassion that it needs to make that pretty much transmute that energy, because energy never dies. It just accumulates more and more. So yeah, you might be saying something angry and projecting that, and then you're going to make more of that, more of that, more of that. So the flip side of it is to think of something and feel something greater, which is going to be letting your heart space be open and allow compassion to come in. So I'm bringing up this also in a reflection of bringing you back to the beginning of what I was saying, was like how last week was what I shared in this podcast. There was that Jupiter Kazemi, that new moon in Cancer. And again, it was allowing those seeds to be planted, to feel like I can do this. This new energy is coming through, right? And then as we move throughout the week, as I moved throughout the week, I was feeling this. I was feeling so high and mighty with this energy. But then towards the end of the week, I was starting to feel this whole like way of like energy shifts. I thought I was going to be in this like flow of like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do this. Like, we're going to be back on a roll because we did so good. We've been doing so good for like the past few weeks of just being in this really aligned mindset. And then Monday pretty much came, and then I was like beating myself up for resting. I pretty much was like, well, why are you feeling this way? Like, get up, like you need to get up. This was all mental of like, I need to get up. I need to do something. That is like all that would come up for me on Monday. It was just like this whole projection of like, you aren't doing enough. Why don't you get up? Like, why don't you just follow this other old pattern of thinking, and like everything that you're doing is obviously not working for you because you're not seeing results, and like, in just negativity, just purging out of my mind. And what I had to do, what I allowed myself to do, was Well, first and foremost, I was like, I need to find a notebook because I've already finished like so many of my notebooks because I use notebooks as a way of like purging, of letting go. That is a beautiful way to do so if we have like these inner conflicts. And I write in my notebook, not all the time, but when I need to, pretty much I see it as like a throw up. Like I'm purging out this, like all these words of like how I'm feeling or these like stuck words. Like even if I'm a broken record or like this is what's going on or like I feel this way about somebody or I think somebody feels this way about me or this old memory keeps popping up about this ex lover or about this time that I feel so ashamed of. Like this is like where the book holds all my junk of my mind that tends to like fall back on these patterns because we can do the best that we can to like actually like get up and make progress. But the thing is that we are human beings and we hold such energy within us, like Akashic records of life. Like we're not only going through our own self of like of reflection, but we're also all the soaking in that we do when we're going to work, when we're going to the grocery store, when we're hearing the sirens go by of like police or we have a cop behind us and we're kind of like, oh, we're good. Like we're not doing anything wrong, but we feel this like stagnant, stuck energy. Like, oh, like it's in us because also being a person of color, like it's embedded in me to sort of freak out or to feel this like bit of old energy that even, I mean, it's still becoming new now of like, you know, having to heal through a bunch of these wounds that have been of separation and that energy of what is going on right now of like immigrants being taken back to their home but have came here with a beautiful family and are getting separated. So even just watching that, even from a Hispanic view of seeing that's what's happening in life. And so anyways, what I'm saying here is that our body freezes. We go through these fight or flight modes. We go through these places of like of anger and aggression that we feel on our culture, on our family, on what's happening in the news of like how dare that person do that to that child or something, you know, like we're sitting with this aggression and it needs to be purged out and shared. And so we can at least do our best. If there's anything we can do is to transform our energy, is to uplift ourselves, and that is through grace. So grace is a word that I want to share with all of you because we can be hard on ourselves all we want. Like we can also, as a human nature thing, be able to pick out the differences of ourselves. And we put ourselves in this separate box that doesn't allow us to become unionized. And so what happens when we actually transmute our energy, when we start to think of something greater, feel something greater, that is when we can bring grace into the table. Grace is that place when you can show pretty much your self-compassion. You're showing grace to yourself by moving with love, moving with this place of, okay, I know this exists. I know that there's hardships and I know I'm feeling this way, but how about we choose grace instead? How about we move and breathe instead? And that, my friends, my beautiful soul babes, is obviously a practice that is to be cultivated. It does not happen right away. And sometimes it's overly like above us, this energy, that grace might not even enter the picture. However, if you give yourself the time and space, as I mentioned, dancing, as I mentioned, going outside and grounding, these are other beautiful tools and modalities that can help with the grace connection, with the heart-centered connection, because we don't have to just like sit there and like and do it ourselves to transform it. We need help, right? Like that's why we go to therapists. That's why we go to nightclubs, I guess, you know, and like different places where we do our best to like help yourselves like transmute the energy. We find outlets of ways to transmute it, but sometimes like we can't just wait to the weekend or shove it away and like we're not sweeping things under the rug. In a holistic wellness practice with spirituality and being creative, we are doing our best to navigate with the tools that we have. So if we have a park, if we have grass, if we have dirt, putting your feet on the grass, on the dirt, at a park, at the beach, and connecting with Mother Earth is a beautiful, accessible tool to everyone. So we can at least feel grounded and anchored. I like to imagine energy being like also this place of like where it can be a flow, right? Like it goes in a flow, but then like if something throws us off guard, then we're shaken up. Like it's all over the place and we don't really know how to deal with that energy. I'm dealing with ants right now and it's summer. So what I can only picture is that like energy when it's thrown off is like, you know, an ant is in a line and they're like, okay, this is where we go. This is the food. This is what we got. Right. And then like I go and disturb the line by wiping a towel over the line. And then it like pretty much removes the line of ants. And then they're like, oh my God. Oh my God. Half of our colony is getting killed. Like like scattered energy. That's what's happening also in a worldly view. I could totally see, but also scattered energy is within ourselves too. So the idea of being able to know that scattered energy happens, I think that's obviously why ebbs even exist, right? Like, oh my gosh, we're going through this motion and it feels uncomfortable and we feel aggressive and we feel mean to ourselves. Like this is all just energy that's been like, like we've been disrupted before and it's just popping up again. So when we want to find our flow again, we gotta receive help in a healthy way, not going to the club and like drinking a bottle or whatever. This is like health in a healthy way, finding an alternative, a holistic tool to help transmute that energy. So even going to a yoga class and even coming to my dance and meditation class that I have every Wednesday evening, these are tools that get you that energy flow like back in order, back into the rhythmic pace that it needs to be in. So that way you can move along your journey with clarity and showing up with more ease and grace, because that is essentially, again, that's the alternative that gets you back onto that path of like, okay, yeah, this is where I'm going. And because sometimes it's not even like us, like we might have a pattern that we've had, of course, from our ancestral tree, but then it's also that there's like things that happen in our lives that are happening now of like outside world moving in a very crazy way that is unpredictable. And I've been listening to astrology. I love going to Chani. Just shouting her out on here because she's really been like a person that I've been listening to that talks about astrology, and just knowing how astrology works is like crazy because it's like, yes, the sky plays a part in that, the way that our energy moves. Like it all has a way of us being able to like sort of see that blueprint of like how we're going to go through things, how it's going to affect us, and how we're either going to evolve from it, how we're going to stay stuck from it. And through understanding that our astrology is our blueprint, we can utilize it as a tool to help us navigate this storm that we go through in life. And I just want to be clear that it's human nature that we're going to have these issues come up. That's the whole point of why we're here, right? On this earth, is because we're here to learn. If it was going to be easy, then we probably wouldn't have came to earth. We are sacred souls here on a mission. Your essence is everything. Every part of your story, every chapter, the light, the shadows, the ups and downs is what makes you uniquely you. There's beauty in every part of your journey. No matter how messy or perfect it may seem, your essence holds power, and it's time to let it fully be seen. On the Essence podcast, I'm inviting you to bring whatever is alive for you right now. Whether it's part of your story that's ready to shift or a new insight that's awakening within you, this is a space to explore and transform it. Life is about digestion. The process of composting what no longer serves us, allowing new life to grow. Because energy never dies, it simply shifts. And sometimes that means transmuting the old into something new. What are you carrying that needs to be released or transmuted? What have you conquered that still holds the key to your growth? Every layer of your journey holds beauty, from the light to the dark. This space is here to help you embrace all of it with love, awareness, and acceptance. We don't need to have it all figured out, but we do need to be willing to lean into the process, to digest life, and let it become fertile soil for your next step. If you're ready to join the sacred space, to dive deeper into your truth, click the link in the description, and let's allow your story to evolve, transmute, and unfold together. And so, we could see that this is actually happening. Like, there's an evolution happening. It's happening in a way that we see technology growing. It's happening in the way that we see more people talking about energy and talking about wellness, holistic wellness. We see that there's more therapists promoting their work on even YouTube. We see that people are also speaking up about what they feel and how they are thinking about certain things, and even books have become evolutionized. So we are doing our best to get into this new motion of helping one another. And there's so much beauty and creativity that we run into on a daily basis. But you are also part of that notion. Like, that is why you are even here on this podcast, because you are part of that evolution. You are part of getting back into your essence, getting back into the places where this is who I am, and this is what I love to do or talk about or to create, and this is what my life is going to contribute as, not as something that is small, but something that gets to build itself up, to use its own self as a whole way of a platform to move Earth, to help evolutionize Earth. So as a soul here, you have a mission, and it's getting back in tune with that mission and understanding that grace is needed, because that mission isn't always going to be easy. It's not going to always be easy to show up for it or to even be in grace. I want to share that, like, even through friendships that I have and witnessing family members, they are doing their best to evolutionize as well, right? Like, they are doing their best to get to this new place. And it has been a very hard struggle at certain points. As I spoke to my mom as one of them, like, we have a beautiful connection together, and she's on a mission to really, do her part in creating, and also in finding her partner, and finding this place of bringing in this new abundance that is yet to come. And it can become frustrated when it's not actually like following through, when you have done your steps, and then it's kind of like, okay, I've done everything I could, and then, like, I'm here again, I'm still here. This is me too. Like, I'm doing everything I can, per se. Like, it's a work in progress, but our minds get stuck on this, like, don't be lazy. Don't, like, you're alone. Like, you need somebody, or like, you fall in these patterns that have been so hard on yourself, because again, that goes back to even stemming from your roots, because of expectations or things that have been shown to you. So I can see that, like, even for my mom, it's been this expectation that you have to have this partner, that you have to have this person that is your one. And I feel my mom has had multiple ones, and in those multiple ones, it's always been a learning lesson, an evolution. And because it's her evolution, she is meant to evolutionize. She wasn't meant to stay and work with one person, given, like, my grandparents working together and staying together in their own energy, from the highs and from the lows. And for my mom, she's obviously gone through those cycles, but she knows that she's on a greater mission. So she's worked through what she needs to work through, but now she's come to this place of evolutionizing, that it is time for her to continue to do her work and do the steps she needs, working together with spirit, so that way she can attract and manifest that beautiful connection that she is knowing she can receive. She is going further than my grandparents. She is going further than other people in our family tree. And as myself, I am doing the same in my own way. in a way of like, even where success equals money, that type of thing, I see as like, that is a mindset I am changing. Like my grandma and my grandpa, they have used that, of course, to get to where they need to go. And it has served them to be where they're at. And I am so grateful again, because it allows me to utilize the parts that actually serve me. The composted parts that I am letting go, though, are the limited beliefs that, success equals money only in like these jobs or in this way, shape, or form, right? But success equals money. Success equals anything that we are actually passionate about, not just in one category of life, not what has already been done, but success equals everything else that has not yet been created, jobs that have yet to be put into a form. And that is for us to evolutionize that and to be the trailblazers to make that happen. So even through that notion, I have been, that's where it comes into play of like, oh, I've been so hard on myself because I'm not seeing the results as much as I would love to see them so grandiose, so like effortlessly, because I didn't choose a path that was already like, oh yes, this is here it goes, this is how it goes, just follow this, and you're guaranteed to be successful because somebody will hire you because somebody needs this. And that's not obviously what I did. I'm here because I'm on a journey to really come out and share your essence, something that not a lot of people are aware of that they need to share, right? That are needing to actually connect to. And knowing that that is what is going to actually help us build out more instead of staying in our little cubicles. So again, everyone's journey is different, and we have to be kind to ourselves and we have to give ourselves grace. So even from me talking to you from yesterday and today, so yesterday, I just want to give you an example of like how I ended up taking grace in. I let those thoughts accumulate inside my head, and that's when I pretty much was like, I need to do something about this. And so I grabbed a notebook and I just wrote down everything that I felt, that I was feeling, of like how I was talking to myself, and I just let it go onto the pages. And I did some yoga, and then I was like, and still in that little like funk that I was trying to push myself to do work and to show up and to do this. And then I grab my laptop and I fall asleep on the couch. And then I just let myself, once I surrendered to falling asleep because I was so exhausted, I pretty much woke up and I went to doing macrame. I'm working on a macrame piece that I'm so happy to indulge in, because it's that more of that pleasure. It's more of that just, having something I can do with my fingers and just like, and create something nice. And so I attended to the macrame, because macrame I don't see as like, that's not a project I'm like wanting to finish. It's like knitting, it's like something that you do like when you're watching TV or just like taking your time. And so because I've been on this like ride of like, okay, we're getting this done, we're recording, we're writing, we're editing, we're doing this, and like we're feeding the dream, it became this like, okay, I've been in this like flow that if now that I've fallen off, like, yeah, that's where it came, where I was being a little bit hard on myself. And so anyways, yeah, so doing the macrame, and then I pretty much made food. I meal prepped for the rest of the week. So it wasn't like I was like not doing anything. I was still doing something, but it just wasn't the things that I actually thought on my agenda that I would actually get done. So my to-do list wasn't really touched. It was really tending to more of the home bodiness, taking a nap, resting. And so coming to today, July 1st, as I'm recording this on a Tuesday, I pretty much was like waking up in that same little funk where I wasn't as much motivated, but I was like, you know what, we just need to show up, take baby steps to getting back into this motion. And so I was editing the previous video that you've just watched last week. And so then I was like, okay, I need to stay in that rhythmic. So I don't want to lose momentum, but I also need to know that I am to rest. So I took another nap today, and I let myself at that point, the nap today, I like in the middle of like 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. I put an alarm clock on and I kept telling myself, okay, I'm going to wake up at this time. I'm going to wake up at this time. But I was so exhausted that I just was like, I'm just sleeping. We're just going to let that happen. And I woke up feeling a little weird, like, oh my God, I just slept through the middle of the day while everyone's at work and everyone's doing this and that. And I didn't even get anything done. So I'm still like beating myself up in my head, right? But that is where grace is to still be invited. And this is where I'm at, showing up and talking to you about how grace is to show up inside of our lives. And we just take things day by day because we're not meant to be robots, just constantly on the go and fitting, yes, this, and this. I didn't even go to my hot yoga today, and that's okay. So if you're going through these type of shifts right now, if you're starting to feel that you're giving yourself a hard time for resting, giving yourself a hard time for actually moving forward on what you want to do, or giving yourself a hard time for even playing, or knowing that like if you don't have the results of like what you're manifesting, just know that what is it that you need right now? And it may not even be like what's on your list. It may be, again, it just might be that resting. It may be that just going outside to ground. It may be that you are to join in on a community like Essence Community and indulge in some beautiful communal time with like the dance and meditation class, with a guided meditation, with your kids or your cousins or your aunts or your uncles, like to enjoy family time, or your friends. It's just a matter of noticing what it is that you need, because not everything is about structure, this, and this. It's also about joy and pleasure and grace entering the life. So I hope this message finds you well, so babe, and that you are able to invite grace into your heart center. And with this notion, I want to have you take a deep breath with me, placing your hand on your heart or your stomach, whatever feels nice for you, and closing your eyes. So let's take a deep breath in through our nose. Exhale through our mouth. 2 more times, breathing in so much love and oxygen into our nose. And exhale, sigh it out. Beautiful. One last time, we're going to breathe in to the top of our lungs and just holding there actually for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it go. Oof. Beautiful. With your eyes closed and your hand on your heart or your stomach, we're just going to sit here and I'm going to share an affirmation that you can repeat after me. I give myself grace. I accept that the universe has a plan for me. I embody the feminine energy by taking rest. Rest is the medicine I need to show up with aligned action. I honor my mind, my body, my soul. So be it. Beautiful. You can open your eyes. Ooh, I love doing that. I fall into this like deep, meditative, just aligned feeling of energy, just feeling so good. Well, thank you, Soul Babes, for joining me here on the Essence Podcast. If you would like to hear more about being in your essence, be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Essence of Riss. You can also subscribe and follow me and listen to the Essence Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. And I'll see you in the next one, Soul Babe. Bye for now.